my God. Maybe we should all just breathe into the that should be our opener. Yeah, is that what you want? Some f***ed up ASMR?
It's some ASMR. I fucking hate ASMR. Ew, Mara!
You would never believe.
No!
What happened to me.
No. Absolutely.
Poopy pants.
We're going to lose listeners. You lost me.
We might gain listeners. Have you thought
I'm
about
sorry to say, ladies, this is how you gain listeners.
For the amount of ASMR,
sorry, ASMR?
What is it?
lives that happen on TikTok, I think we could gain a couple followers by doing like random 30-second sound bits of that.
Yeah, we should think about that.
I think you two should make your own podcast that does that. That's a great idea.
Oh yeah, you're really gonna be okay with us making our own podcast together? You're not gonna have
when
FOMO
it comes to
about
ASMR,
that?
yes.
don't
That's
believe
the
it.
one thing I have no FOMO about.
I don't believe it for a second. Not a second. Welcome to my top everything. I'm Marion.
I'm Cara.
And I'm Mara.
And we certainly did not just rehash a conversation for 10 minutes about potatoes, roots, eyes, stems, and leaves. That did not happen for 10 minutes.
Absolutely
and if it did,
not.
count your lucky stars that we decided to edit it out. All right, today's topic is my top 3 arch rivals in my life. My top 3 arch rivals. How do we want to choose who goes first?
I think it's my turn.
Okay.
Great deal. Let's start it off strong. My number 3, must I say before I begin? I must. I am going to struggle saying the word archrival because I was practicing before this, and there's something about like words with V's in it that give my mouth a hard time.
Do you want to make them bees?
Archrivals. I'm sure it'll slip up. You're like the words.
Is it the R's that are the R's and the V's combined?
Combined? Yeah, I think so. Because I also really struggle. Yeah, it's the R's. It's the R's with a bunch of vowels.
What else do you struggle with? What word are you going to say?
Well, I couldn't remember off the top of my head. I was going to list a struggle word because there are a couple R words that I like avoid in conversation because I cannot pronounce them. But I know what they mean.
Okay, well, that's a future update. Words that you know what they mean, but you don't want to use them in conversation.
I'll start writing them down when I have conversations in the real world.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
So
now that you've practiced the word a bunch and recited it.
It's a really great segue to my number 3 top archrival.
You're so worried. You just decided to blow the top. You said, just get it out of the way. Number 3 tarp.
Correct.
We'll do our number 3 tarps on a different episode.
I don't know if it's a great segue into my number 3 arch rival anymore, but it's when people who interrupt me and the flow of the thought that I'm sharing or whatever sentence happens to be coming out of my mouth at the time to point out that I didn't pronounce something right. Or when I flipped 2 of the first letters. Because that happens, like, sometimes it is funny. Like, see exhibit Polly Darton.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, there is a time and a place where, like, I do find it funny. I guess
on this podcast?
Yeah.
When don't you find it funny?
Yeah.
When it like interrupts my entire train of thought and I can't get back to it. And I'm like, did you really need to point that out? We're talking about something and it wasn't really like, they didn't feel the room for the moment of, hey, this isn't it's not time to joke. Say it afterwards, or like at least let me finish my thought.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fair. That's a good one.
But I do recognize that I say a lot of things incorrectly.
You say many, many funny things because of these slip ups.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I
What do
find
you
them
think?
funny.
What do you think is like the brain chemical stuff behind that?
Dyslexia? No, that's
Dyslexia,
reading.
but that's reading, right? Can you have?
Yeah. I don't know, because a lot of people always make the joke, are you having a mini stroke right now? And I'm like, that's not funny.
Yeah, that seems a little.
It's a little harsh.
Seems a little far.
I agree.
Also, it causes slurring, not like mixing up letters. So that's a really dumb way to make fun of you.
It is.
You tell them that. You say, I'm not slurring.
Well, okay. Not that I endorse this comment or this insult, but I will say I'm pretty sure that one of the side effects of stroke is just difficulty speaking. It's not slurring, Cara. So you can like stutter.
Right.
Okay. Wow, there's a lot of interrupting going on, and I am trying to defeat Mara's archrival, and that includes for when it interrupts me too. So
yeah.
Well, see, look at that. I lost my train of thought.
And that's why I interrupt, because I can't remember what I was going to say either.
This is there's like several tactics, like cross your fingers so you remember you have a thought, or there's like that's the only one
I thought you were talking about for strokes.
No, what is that? Fast break. No, it's fast, right? For stroke response.
Yeah, face, arm.
Yeah. Speech.
You're talking about the symptoms?
Signs
Yeah. The things that recognize the symptoms.
What's T?
Talking? I don't know. I have no idea.
Speech and talking both at the same time.
What's your idea, genius?
Time.
Did you Google it? Yeah, you Googled it. Stop it. Time. Like, I can't see you on this podcast.
Type in.
The reason that I think that slurring is part of it is because usually, or not usually, I should say, but half your tongue sometimes doesn't work, right? So that like causes the slurred speech. What Mara does is sometimes mix up letters. It's not that you don't have a thought, it's that it comes out very hilariously a lot of the time.
Yes. And I think that like if this is similar to how I type, sometimes I'll get really excited, and a lot of times all the letters will be there when I'm typing, but they will be out of order because I like to say that my fingers get too excited. And so, but also I think because of that, I've memorized how to type words incorrectly. I type the word that, TAHT, a lot on the keyboard.
Tat.
Yeah.
Does your phone correct it automatically?
Not on Teams at work, no.
I mean, I think everyone has this. You just have it more like everyone has where they get really excited or they're thinking ahead. Like when I flub my words, it's usually because I'm thinking ahead in my sentence about what I want to say next. Or like when I'm writing a card and I'm thinking of what I want to say next, and I start like writing the wrong letters for the next word because of it.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I'll start writing and it'll be the first letter of the next word I'm going to write, and then but the word is spelled completely correct other than that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But feel the room. It is funny sometimes, and I don't hate all interruptions, but I do hate some of them.
That's fair. That's a good one.
Thank you.
I'll go next to get out of the way. I have a feeling this is going to show my personality a lot. So I had a hard time coming up with these, and Grayson lovingly helped me. So this is like partially the brainstorm of us two. But my number 3 is Scott's Lawn Company, who represents all green turf grass lawns in America. I have a sincere anger around the idea that, so like lawns, first of all, the type of grass that we use in America is not even native to America. It's from Europe. It used to be this like status symbol thing. HOAs still fine people if their lawn is not 1.5 inches tall and Kentucky bluegrass and that kind of shit. And it really pisses me off. And Scott's got very rich because they started doing this campaign for all these like fertilizers and different inputs that you can do in the 1950s when we had a ton of houses being built. And made a bunch of money, and they polluted all the water, and I don't like them.
I read recently that this one house developer, architect, who was building the first like modern cookie cutter complex.
Developer, yeah.
Yes. He decided to give people lawns so that they would have less time to think about communism and revolt.
Huh.
I don't know.
I don't know if I haven't heard that, but Grayson and I do believe. No, I believe you. I'm not laughing at you in any way, shape, or form. I think that's totally.
I mean,
I'm laughing at me.
Oh, okay.
That kind of goes with like, you know, the Illuminati conspiracy that we had. You know,
Bringing it home.
Just
was it a conspiracy?
Yes. Fun side note, when Grayson and I met, we both had read this book called The American Lawn, which is all about the history of lawn development in America.
What a fun
separately read it because we're both nerds.
What a fun couple.
Wow.
Yeah, we have really interesting conversations.
Early on in your relationship, you weren't like, hey, I really need you to read this book. And he did it because it's the early part of the relationship. You guys had both separately, before you knew each other, read this book.
Yeah. Yeah. Second option.
Wow.
I know.
Fascinating. The book sounds fascinating. So
it is, though. It's very interesting.
So you're telling me there's this guy named Scott who just, I don't understand. Scott's Lawns? There's just this company?
Scott's is a company that sells, I mean, anything you could possibly want with lawns. A couple of negative facts about lawns is that they produce more greenhouse gases than they absorb.
So you're just mad at a company for like making money off of lawns?
I mean, I hate lawns, and I'm targeting Scott's as my.
Why wouldn't you just say that like lawns are your arch rival? Because that's like.
Because
let me
Grayson
try and equate
said,
this. That's like if like somebody like hated condoms because they didn't like premarital sex. Like that they're like condoms are my arch rival, or not condoms, but Trojan. Trojan's my arch rival because they make condoms so that people can have premarital sex.
Here's what happened. I was stressed earlier about this list. I said, Grayson,
story of your life, by the way.
I know.
Every single Tuesday, I'm struggling with this. I have no clue.
Sometimes not. Sometimes I think about it for a whole week ahead of time. I've got it all nailed down. I'm very proud of myself. Most Tuesdays, it comes to be like my lunch hour, and I'm like, I gotta go freaking research this.
Wow. It's better than me. I'm after dinner solidly on Tuesdays.
No, because I get stressed. I'm like, what if I don't come up with my third one? What if I don't think it through? And Marion asks, who's going to pay you this $1 million question? I got to think through all the avenues.
Well, sometimes that happens and you end an episode with negative points.
Yeah. So that's why Scott's is about here, is because I was trying to find something to nail to the cross.
I hate to do this, but
you're gonna change your mind about
no. But I think I feel a -1 coming on for not just saying lawns. Like
that's on my list. I can show you my list. It says number 3, lawns. So
this is why are we picking Scott's Lawns? Why not Home Depot? Why not Menards? Like why fucking Scott?
Scott's was, I will say that having read that book, Scott's was one of the major offenders that sold the majority of all of the fertilizers and all of these inputs and the irrigation systems and blah, blah, blah.
I think we should take away a full point. I say a half point because she didn't really talk about Scott's the whole time. She talked about lawns, maybe 0.25. Honestly.
0.25. Can I finish my hatred of lawns real quick?
Yes.
Okay. So 1, they produce more greenhouse gases than they absorb. They are absolutely terrible for insects and pollinators, and they are killing off the bees. They cover 2% of U.S. land and require more irrigation than any other agricultural crop in the United States. And where Marion lives in California, more than half of all water, potable water, is used for irrigation. Half. You know how little water you guys have? You know how much water you steal from other places just to water your lawns?
Oh, I mean, yeah. I mean, the ocean every day, they say that the ocean is rising, but over here, it's definitely dropping from all the water.
Oh my God.
Wow.
I
can't
did
even
also
validate that.
I did also see, I think maybe I even sent that TikTok. There was a TikTok that was talking about the water consumption here and how basically like consumer water is nothing. It's all like irrigation, like from companies and things. And it was quite disheartening. I kept thinking, why am I taking 3-minute showers? In theory, I don't do that. But why am I considering doing that if, it's literally like not like it doesn't even, it's not a drop in the bucket, literally.
Yeah.
Literally. Yeah.
I agree. 100%. It's just advertising by big corporations to make us feel bad and make us feel like we're the problem. I didn't put the fucking... What is it? The little things that go
Mara
around?
is just like throttling at the camera, like her hands, like she's strangling someone. I don't know what that is.
It's like all my plastic trash, the like plastic things that go around pop cans, and they're like, oh, you better cut that off, otherwise it's gonna end up in the ocean around some turtles. Yeah. I didn't put it in the fucking ocean. How is it getting in the ocean from the Midwest? Explain it.
Rivers?
Yeah, have you heard of them? Rivers.
She lives like half a mile from the Mississippi River, which goes all the way to the Gulf of Mexico.
I have an interesting thing about lawns. So, yes, we should be, everyone who listens to this, if you ever have the opportunity to have a yard or a lawn, consider growing it out. Less work for you, more money saved, and, pollinators, and it's better for the environment. I was at my partner's brother's rehearsal dinner on Friday night, and I was talking to some people who were young people, and they were complaining about like having to take care of the young.
Sorry, who are young people? Let's define that.
Okay, what do you think is young? Like I'm talking to young people.
You just sounded so old when you said that. Young people. You're 31, so I'm going to say younger than 18.
I'm going to say, to me, young is anywhere from birth to like 36.
Yes, Mara's correct. Yes. Why would young people have a lawn? I was just saying that they weren't old. They weren't like really old people. They were like our age. Like I consider us young people. And I'm offended that you don't think that I'm young. So
it's not. It's that in the planning industry, young people kind of is a specific group, like usually 25 or younger, I would say. But you just sounded really. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have interrupted you. I'm picking fights again.
Do it. Pick them.
So these young people that I was sitting next to, and they were talking about like having to mow their lawn. And I said, well, you should just consider letting it grow out so that way, it'd be better for everything. And they said, can't do that. And I said, why not? And they said, can't let your lawn grow long if you've got weed growing in your basement.
It goes to like the saying of don't break the law while you're breaking the law.
Yeah.
Literally. That is my favorite answer I could have ever hoped to hear.
I know.
Oh my God.
That's really well landed. Thank you.
Can I do my number 3?
Yes. Thought you'd never say it.
My number 3 arch rival is Alex. I'll say a name.
Whoa.
I'll say it.
Full name.
Young. It's young person, old name.
Yeah.
This is a throwback.
You're not wrong.
Yes. Alex went to our high school with us, and he was very capable and smart. And he also went to Central along with me and Cara, and Central was like this magnet school that they had people go to half the day. And Alex was like the bane of my academic existence because he was always just like 1/10 of a percentage better than me or something. Like I remember we got our National Honor Society, like there was some test you had to take and it came back and I had like a really good, really great score. I was in like the top % of like whatever in the country. And then freaking Alex had like, was the only person to have scored higher than me and was like an even smaller percentage in the country. So it was like a whole thing where like, I think Alex was like honored for that. And then when valedictorian came around, maybe I'm not remembering this correctly. I just remembered that Alex was higher than me in valedictorian. Like, I mean, our school was super weird into this thing where the top 10% of the class all got named valedictorian, if I remember
No,
correctly.
it was anybody who had a GPA above 4.0 and above, which ended up being like 22 people, which was honestly wild because the only way you could have above, we had some classes that were quote weighted and were on a 5-point scale, and so you could get above a 4.0.
Oh, that seems like you're jipping the system because then what if people just didn't take the 5.0 classes? I think people like Marion and Alex probably got like 110% on all their freaking exams, you know?
I just
if you're taking a 5.0.
I was valedictorian as well.
Sorry. I very distinctly remember that it was the top 10% of the class and it was like 50 people because we had over 500 people in our graduating class.
There were
because I think Cara was also a valedictorian.
Yeah,
like basically everyone we knew was valid.
I missed it by 0.05%.
Yikes.
Wow,
that's embarrassing.
Yeah, and I went to a teacher and I said, "Can I like take a quiz? God, I don't even remember. I was like begging this person, and they were like, "No, 0.05." Yeah, that's not even pace rounding rules. You know, like
that person is an arch rival in your life. Yeah. Also, because Anyway, did Alex speak at graduation?
He did.
Yes.
He didn't speak at graduation. Him and I both spoke at the like dinner that happened before graduation.
I also spoke at that dinner. The rehearsal.
Do you know what I'm yeah, I remember.
The revolving one.
Yeah. Yeah. And then maybe you're thinking of the top 10% because you got chords if you were in the top like 1, 3, and maybe 10%. But also we went to public school, so maybe they were like wanting to honor more students, so they opened up the percentage range.
Maybe.
Anyway, Alex was always ahead of me. And he was in my way of really succeeding and becoming number one. And that was very difficult for me. You know, a lot of adversity there between me and Alex. And he went on to become a doctor who like helps save children's feet or something now. He's like a children's podiatrist. And he like graduated early and became a doctor super young and all this stuff. So he's still mocking me with his success.
I just like am still not over the fact that I get to tell people I was valedictorian and I don't have to tell them that I was like one of 30. Like they don't have to know that.
Yeah, they don't need to know that part.
How are they going to know?
Who's going to tell them?
I mean, if they listen to the podcast, they'll know. I'm pretty sure that I was like number 2 and Alex like beat me out. Like Alex was like number 1. And I think I might have been tied with some people at 2, but it was just very annoying that he beat me yet again.
I also remember that he got like a 35 on his ACT and he took it again to try to see if he could get a 36. And he got a 35 twice.
He got a higher score on the ACT.
Yeah.
Son of a bitch.
I think he also, if I'm remembering the right person, I think he also sang soprano in JB at Brody and outshined all of the sopranos.
He also,
before his
church. His family and my family went to the same church, and he's got a great singing voice. I'm not even gonna lie.
I think it is him then.
Yeah, and he plays trombone, which Marion, you also played.
Oh my god. He is like, I think my mom even used to say he's like the male better version of me. She's the son he's the son she always wanted.
Oh my god, yikes to your brothers.
You were also a boner?
What?
You were also a boner?
Trombone. I did dabble in the
Hell
boner
yeah.
world.
Dabbled.
Hell
I'm
yeah,
retired.
bone life.
I'm retired now. Yeah, he was good at everything, and it was very annoying, and I hate him, and it's fine.
Speaking of things that I hate, my number 2 top arch rival
Nice.
happens to be these 2 chin hairs that come in that are really, really hard to pluck.
This is good. Yeah.
And I can see them. And they're like, but they're always under like 5 layers of skin. And to get them out, I have like one of 4 options. Number 1, I leave it and wait for it to grow a little bit more. No, not fucking ever happening. Number 2, I slowly over the course of days pick away layers of skin. Unconsciously for the most part, because I can feel something and it itches. I don't know if you've ever had, to all our male listeners,
Some might be able to relate to this.
Yeah, growing a beard itches. Thank you. Or I can dig it out with the tweezers, but then that creates something. But then also if I do it wrong, I end up creating like a pimple, and then there's this red spot on my chin.
You're doing an ingrown hair.
But it's not ingrown.
I think if you mess with it enough, though, I think that's what you're doing.
Have you tried the 4th option, which is sandpapering it?
I've thought about doing like that UV laser hair removal. I'm gonna take sandpaper.
I just say get like a grade 4 piece of sandpaper and go at it and see what happens.
You let me know how that works.
I will.
I have I have hair all over my face. It's very, very light. And so like you can't really see it. But like when I put powder and stuff on, it's very visible. And I have a little blonde clear mustache. And I think it's getting darker, and I'm very concerned about it. And I don't know what to do. So if you could figure that out for me.
I think they have like little like trimmers.
I want to trim it though.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've never personally shaved my face. I have thought about it many, many, many times.
Have you?
Yeah, because all of the women I talk to that have shaved their face say that it is so nice and it's so fresh. Just think of the feeling that you get when you shave your legs, but it's on your face. What?
Yeah.
Maybe bleach your mustache to keep it blonde. I think people do that.
Yeah, I would consider that over shaving.
I have 2. So I have this mole that on my face that a lady lopped off, but I guess she didn't do well enough because not just a lady. Sorry, I doctor.
She just walking down the road, whipped out a knife.
This is my least favorite doctor that I've ever had, so it's hard. I clearly don't have a lot of respect. But
she's a quack.
This doctor like lopped it off, but she didn't get all of it. So like part of it's regrowing. The other day, like I found that there's 2 hairs sprouting from it, and I think every night about what I should do about it. I haven't done anything yet, but I am devastated. So I can see the chin hairs. It is a devastating thing to have these hairs and not knowing what to do about them, because I don't really like pain and I don't want to pluck them, but you can't really shave them. And
you should probably get your mole removed, because you probably got it, I'm assuming, removed for a reason. And if it changes shape, color, size... well, I'm saying that would eliminate the hair problem.
All right, Mom.
I'm here trying to help you.
Speaking as somebody who also plucks hairs from like 3 different moles, there's one mole on my back that gets like 2 hairs. That one doesn't hurt. And then there's like this mole on my arm. There's 2 moles on one on each arm, and one of them I like forget is there all the time, and then all of a sudden I look over and there's this like long black hair.
Just checking you really do want this on the podcast, or
just thinking
do you want a catalog of your sprouting random body hairs that you pluck on the podcast to live on
in infamy? Your
the
children
rest of
will
your
know
days
about this
and beyond.
I don't think the moles is that big of a deal.
It could be 1,000 years from now. The dinosaurs come back and human life is desecrated. They find one recording and it's you just cataloging every single stray body hair.
Oh, I'm not even. There's a long list.
Cara?
If we're gonna get into it.
I think that as somebody that has a lot of freckles and moles, it's very common, and I don't think it's that crazy.
Yeah.
I don't think it's crazy.
I have hairs coming out of every mole.
I'm just saying, is that what we want here? We want a
I'm
full
fine
catalog.
I'm fine with it. I'm going to normalize it. It happens to a lot of people. There's like, that's how, honestly, on my body, that's how I know which ones are moles and which ones are freckles. Because I'm like, oh, well, that one's got a hair. That's a mole.
You're like Drew Barrymore. Have you seen her whole thing about menopause?
Yes. We're
No.
on. Okay. I guess not that. I was going to say we're on TikTok. So yes, we've seen Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
That is also where I saw it.
Oh.
Anyway, she discusses menopause and talks all about like how it's, you know, something that we hide underneath the rug and or put underneath the rug, hide it. What is that phrase?
Shove under the rug.
Sweep. It's sweep under the rug.
Sweep it. Thank you. Shove it under the rug.
You just
Anyway,
shove
she
our
had her
menopause
first-
under there.
And she had her first hot flash on air. And she was so excited. She was like, yes, I wanted this to happen. I want to show women what it's like. And she had a guest or something that was an older woman. I think Michelle Obama or something was guest starring. Or anyway.
I don't think Michelle Obama's old enough to be going through menopause yet.
Oh,
She's probably close.
I think she definitely is in the right age range.
How old do you think, when do you think regular menopause starts?
Late 50s.
I was going to say
Mid 50s.
I think on the low end, it's probably around 50.
And how old do you think Michelle Obama is?
like 56.
I think her daughters are like 20, in their early 20s. So I think
It looks like she was talking to Oprah Winfrey.
No, I thought that too, which is why I raised my hand. I went back. It was actually Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler.
Nice.
I was nowhere near correct.
That makes
Michelle Obama, Jennifer Aniston. No way to discern between the two.
none.
Same person.
I think that Michelle Obama was on a different episode of that show, which is where that thought came from.
Both have great arms, so I will give you that.
That is accurate.
I didn't
Okay,
realize Drew Barrymore had a show.
let's continue on.
Okay, so my number 2 is the 40-hour work week. I despise having to work 40 hours a week. I think it's a bunch of bullshit. The Europe has been working on less than that, and they're just as productive. I think COVID taught us that we can change the way that we work. I had notes. I had so many notes on the lawn, and I have none on 40-hour work weeks.
It's more self-explanatory.
Yeah, I mean, it was started. I mean, we used to. Anthropologists have found that we worked way, way, way less than that before, like mechanization and all that kind of stuff. I think they said like average of 12 hours a week, if I remember correctly. And then we went to like 80, back in the day, and then Henry Ford normalized 40 hours a week because partially we think because he wanted to have his factories running for 24 hours and that was equally divisible. So he started that. Manufacturing continues it. And they've like toyed with the idea of going down to like 32 or something, but that only works for white collar workers. So America's going to have to do a lot of like thinking and actually paying people what they're worth. If they want to reduce it. But it really gets in the way of me living my life. So I would really love a 32, if not, lower.
It really does.
Right. Just don't work at all. That would be great if we didn't have to work at all.
I think I would be really bored. I like the structure. I just don't want 40 hours of structure.
It's crazy.
I could do like 4 half days a week and feel fulfilled.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel
That's
like
good.
6 hours, 3 or 4 days a week would be plenty. You don't need more than that. Yeah. I think they found that a 6-hour workday is more productive anyway for people. That people do better when it's only 6 hours. They get more done. That they're more energized for the next day.
Well, the reason they cut it from 10 to 8 was because they also did a study that found that 10 was too many. People started sloughing off at 8. I know, right?
Wild.
10, too many for a normal person.
Too many. Also, the 2-day weekends suck.
Yeah.
You can't get shit done You can't go anywhere. You can't do anything. Once you're there, right? You travel Friday. You have one day, Saturday, and then you got to travel back to the thing, whether it be camping, whether it be anything. It's super annoying. I would
and
like
then
to
you don't get any rest time from your all day of fun.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's probably another Illuminati strategy to keep us down because
I agree.
you keep people working.
Yeah.
They're not thinking, they're just working. But yeah, it is bogus that we only get 2 out of 7. Like, you could at least make it half and half. Like, why is it that we are supposed to work most of our lives, like a majority of our lives away?
Got to get that GDP.
We're just little NPCs in the billionaire's world.
Non-player characters.
Yeah.
I was thinking non-person characters, but I think it's non-player characters.
It is non-player characters.
I was right.
Great job.
I'm surprised.
Do I get a quarter
You're
point?
No, you're at 0 again. Yeah, I agree.
Thank
$100.
you.
Yeah.
Mara can award points too.
Yep.
For knowing a super common term
I have never heard of it.
of an NPC.
Did you hear me?
Yeah, Grayson literally just shook his head when you said that statement. You've never
Does
heard
that
of it.
mean that he's surprised by this or that he's embarrassed?
Let him weigh
we don't-
in. Let him weigh in.
I think it's only common knowledge to people that play video games.
Thank you.
Or anyone that's been on the internet in the past 15 years.
Thank you.
Yikes.
Which
That term is used all the time.
go back to the hashtag conversation on TikTok. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know. I am old lady.
You argued fervently for about 20 minutes that you did know what you were doing with that hashtag conversation.
When we go back to Minneapolis, you're going to get hired by some company because they're going to think, man, she's young, she's hip, she's going to know how to work Microsoft Word. And you're going to get in there and be like, oh my God, help.
Cut the part where I'm moving back to Minneapolis, please.
Fair.
Yeah.
Oh, do your work people listen?
I've told people, so.
Just cut the whole episode.
No, I think it's
just
fine.
cut the
Okay.
whole god thing.
No.
Scrapper.
Not scrappable.
Anything else we want to say on the topic of work
Capitalist
weeks?
bullshit. No, I've said my piece. I wanted to have a small rant, and I did. So, mission accomplished.
Thank you.
My number 2, archrival. This is a really hard one. I just have so many archrivals in my life. My number 2 is gatherings without food or games. When
What is
people,
that?
Yeah, when people invite me to a party, quote unquote, or something, and there's no food there, or like we go to a bar to hang out, and there's no food, and there's no game to occupy myself with, and it's just sitting there with alcohol.
Talking.
God, I really do. Those are the bane of my existence. I think when is this going to be done? So,
Yeah, that's fair. I can see why that is on your arch rival list.
yeah. And sometimes they sneak up on you. Food was promised or insinuated, or it's around a normal food time, and then there's no food. There's no snackies, not a little something to munch on, a little slurpy slurp, crunchy crunch. Nothing. Like if you're going to have a party, have a cake.
Correct. I don't care what the party is. There should be cake there.
Hot take, everybody.
Yeah. The worst is when people invite you to a happy hour and then nobody orders food and they're all just drinking, and I'm like, but it's 5:30.
Yeah. And also, why do we do work happy hours when you're sending people off into their cars?
No.
Like corporate sponsored drinking and driving. It's ridiculous.
It's why
I
it
do
should
not
be
understand it.
appy hour, and it's just appetizers.
Nah.
I'm
like
sure
appy.
that Applebee's or Chili's or something has already used that. I can't be the first
You should
amazing marketing mind to come up with appy hour.
Appy hour.
I mean, I bought in pretty quickly.
Yeah, with that gas.
Yeah.
Let
I
me
was like,
see.
that's such a good idea.
I'm looking up appy hour on Google News to see.
Google News.
Google News just thinks I've misspelled happy hour.
Yeah.
You gotta do quotes.
Get on Firefox News.
What?
I don't know. I don't think they have one, but isn't Firefox a way more neutral web browser than Google?
You mean politically?
Just everything wise?
Okay, I guess there's
we can do an
one.
episode top 3 web browsers, and I'll weigh in on that.
There's
Sounds
only
like
3,
my hell.
Grayson.
Yeah, I feel like we're all just gonna agree, right? Chrome is first.
Obviously.
And
Grayson
then
disagrees,
Edge.
actually.
I found only one result in my very extensive search for Appy Hour,
Great
and it
work.
was Boston's Pizza Restaurant and Sports Bar. So I'm gonna say I'm the first mind to ever think of Appy Hour.
LOL. I'm the first mind to think of something directly after quoting a place that has listed it.
I mean, I thought that it was gonna be like a big chain.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'm the first person on the West Coast, at least, to come up with
Okay.
Appy Hour, because that was Boston. So, you know, it's not fair. They're 3 hours ahead of me, so they probably had the last 3 hours.
They
to come
just
up with
released it 3 hours ago.
We can't prove one way or another. We'll never know.
Yeah, prove it. I can't. I can't.
Let's
It's
go to
also an accounting app for small businesses. Sorry.
Oh, nice.
Oh, it's a thing on Meetup in Seattle, too. You are not. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
You did an
Nice.
interesting search out there.
Well, did you go to Google News, Cara?
Yeah.
No, I'm on what is Safari?
This started
I don't-
because I said I bet someone like Applebee's or Chili's has done it,
Fair point.
and they have
Fair
not.
point.
Just Boston's
Yeah.
Pizza
But the way
Restaurant.
that you said it,
Tacoma Public
Was that you were the
Library
first
says
one?
it. I don't know.
Why would they say Appy Hour? What does that even mean? These are all very local searches.
okay.
It's a thing on Pinterest. 50 Appy Hour ideas. Pinterest beat you to it. I don't think you can
We'll
claim
do-
originality anymore.
We'll do another topic that's top 3 Appy Hour ideas.
Oh, I like that one.
Okay,
That's
let's
a
go.
great idea.
Let's go to our
Sorry.
sponsors.
Would you-
Oh my God. Let's go to our sponsors.
Nice.
All right, we're at our sponsors. Our number 3 sponsor is Grayson, our sound engineer and producer. Woo woo! Raise the roof.
Raise the oof.
Do you have a sound bite for raise the roof? Because you can put it in there. Are you
Let
making
me
yourself
record it real
laugh?
quick. Raise the oof. I don't know. That's not going in there.
Are you really sure you want that on the
No,
podcast?
that's not going in.
Yeah, it has to stay.
We can't ask that every 2 seconds. Nothing will be on the podcast. Raise
It's the running
oof.
theme of it's the theme joke this time.
Raise the oof.
Did you want my suggestion?
I
for
think
sponsors?
I took it. Unless
okay.
you have a different one.
Okay. Well, let's listen. Let's find out.
Yeah. I'm the
Are you on tenterhooks?
They're L-shaped, did you know?
My favorite part, I'm sorry, re-listening to that podcast, my favorite part is when Cara's like, they're a bent metal? They're a bent metal shape. I feel like I didn't give you enough shit about the fact that you said that. Because all hooks are bent metal.
Mara knew what I meant. She was there for me. She said it looks like a J, and I was like, "Thank you."
That's what hooks look like.
Yeah, but
this one's an L.
It's an L. L and J are different shapes, Marion.
Oh, this is why Alex was number 1.
Ooh.
Wow. I don't know how I'm going to recover. I don't
Too
think
far.
I can recover. Yeah, too far. How dare you use Alex against me?
I think about him occasionally.
Because of the...
No. But
God,
yes.
I hope this never reached any... Who do we know who still talks to him? Hopefully no one. Anyway.
Anna, I'm sure.
Okay, well, Anna, don't. Okay. Our number 2 sponsor could be you. Okay, if you tag our Twitter at My Top Everything Podcast or our Instagram. Spread the word about us, and you could be right here in our number 2 sponsor spot. Or number 1, maybe, if I'm feeling generous. Also, you could be our sponsor by pausing the podcast right now and texting a friend to listen. I'm sure you have one friend. I believe in you. So just pause it right now. Did you do it? See, I caught you. Maybe you didn't do it. Okay, I believe you did it. And I believe you texted your friend. Thank you so much. And thank you for pulling over on the side of the road to do that. That meant a lot to me. Our number 1 sponsor for this week is Sports Rivals. Because nobody would watch sports without them. I'm convinced.
It's true.
We got Vikings, Packers, Hawkeyes, Cyclones. I'm sure there
Oregon
are other
State
ones.
Ducks, yeah.
Iowa State.
That's what I said. Hawkeyes, Cyclones.
Probably the Bears and the Chiefs.
Sure.
Guessing.
Why not?
The Pirates are a team.
Throw them out there.
The Pirates and the Eagles.
The Yankees and every other baseball team.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
That's all of them.
Welcome back. Mara, hit us with your number 1.
All right, my number 1 top arch rival of all time in my daily life and all of my waking hours is literally any author that has ruined the ending of a book or a series. Straight to jail. If hell is real, you'll be there. To name a couple, The Queen of the Tierling by Erica Johansson.
Yeah.
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 F*** off.
Yes, please. The first, if you are going to read this book, please only read the first one.
You could read the second one, but it's going to be hard to stop if you read the second one. You could read the second one and just like write an ending down, and whatever ending you wrote will be better than the one that she wrote. Correct. Sorry. I hope Erica never listens to this either, but maybe there needs to be
someone needs to tell her.
There needs to be some tough love here, because that was truly a horrendous ending.
It was so bad. Also, make a note to Mockingjay by Suzanne Collins. I remember feeling very whelmed by the ending of that book, and honestly just a little bit bored, and it didn't really... I don't think it went with the other two.
Is that the third or the second one?
The third one.
Yeah.
And then,
I didn't read that one because I thought this isn't gonna. Yeah. See, here I did this right. I read the first one. I put it down, and I said, I don't think that's gonna go where I want it to go, and I stopped.
Wow, I could not stop myself.
Yeah.
With that series.
I can't ever stop myself. To this day, I still do it.
I hurt myself over and over again with these terrible endings.
And a shout out to every reader that stuck with Allegiant by Veronica Roth. I haven't read that series, but
from what you hear,
nobody has a nice thing to say about the ending of that.
Oh man, that's gotta be rough. I hope if I ever become an author that I don't disappoint people like that. That's gotta be brutal.
Yeah. Yeah. And no.
Huh?
I was gonna say honorable mention to any of the smut books that I read where they're like, oh, we have 25 to 15% left in the book. I should probably sprinkle in some plot. You don't have to.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I made it this far.
Where's this plot sprouting up out of nowhere? Like, why are you doing that? Just like, let me.
We had a smooth ride before this.
Are you sure you want that in the podcast?
Yeah, and now you're in a DNF. Did not finish pile, but thank you.
Yeah, and the book wasn't the only thing not to finish.
I was just gonna say that.
Cara, any honorable mentions? I think there's a good time.
Yeah, I do.
We all do.
Apparently. I'm going to go.
Oh,
Okay.
I'm going.
You said my name, man.
That's when I was gonna ask you to do your number one, and I thought, honorable mention.
So you switched tact. Got it.
Yeah. Anyway, for me, some honorable mentions. Fake nails, makeup, most girly things.
Yes.
I've had too many bad run-ins. I've had ripped nails. I've had smudged eyes. I've had money that I paid for makeup that I felt like maybe it was user error, but I was like, what's going on here? Also, the fact that makeup expires, rude. As somebody who doesn't use it a lot, that is honestly atrocious. Also, time and mortality, but I felt like that wasn't a fair fight. You know, we're not equals, so I can't really say like that's my arch rival because like, you know, like time and mortality is like so above me that it doesn't really count, but it does plague me, both of those things. And last one, probably my chosen career, big arch rival of mine. Just like really like such a mistake, but what can you do?
Only
change careers? No.
Time will tell.
Yeah, just another probably like 10 years to sink into this before I find out if it was worth it or not. Casual. You know, other
and
careers.
Then we'll switch careers.
Yeah. Other careers, you spend 10 years, you're like guaranteed that something's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
You spend 10 years.
Security.
As a catch up to the ghost encounters, the automatic feeder in my house just went off.
Oh.
You
do I have
went
a
off,
ghost?
Went off like
little kibbles just came out. Ghost. But yeah, I'm really sorry. Those are some good arch rivals. Great honorable mensch.
Thank you.
I don't know if we're doing mensch, but
my honorable mention goes to literally any motherfucker that isn't out there using their blinker. I hate you.
Ooh.
And you're the worst type of driver. Thank you. I'm done.
Okay. I agree with that. I'll tack on people that zipper merge into that little list. And then my actual ones are reality TV shows because I hate them. They're so mindless. They're so dumb. They're all acted. I'm aware. And yet they pull me in and they get me every time. And I hate it.
It's really good TV.
It's really good. It's annoying. And then also Marion's Alex Beep reminded me of a
I don't like the way that was phrased. I don't like that at all. That made it sound atrocious. What were we doing? Marion and Alex's beep? No.
So scandalous.
Alex Beep.
No, you didn't make it better.
That's what it's going to sound like when we beep it out, though.
I got too distracted by your faces. Marion talking about Alex reminded me that I had a teacher in middle school who basically told me that I was too dumb to continue in the math track that I was on.
Oh, yeah. I remember that guy.
I got so, I'm sure, upset at first and cried. And then I have never studied like I have studied for AP Calc. Never in my life have I studied as hard. I went to the after school hours every day, and I'm sure that teacher hated me because he probably had shit to do, but every day. And you know what? I got a 5 on my fucking AP test because that guy was a dick. And then I ran into him later, and he didn't remember who I was. That was really sad.
Cara, I remember us driving home from something. I think it was a Key Club event, and you were just reading your calculus book in the backseat. I have a distinct memory of that.
She maybe talked about this guy for like 2 months. I remember. It wasn't middle school, though. It was high school.
It was high school. You were taking calculus in middle school.
Yeah.
It was 8th.
No, it wasn't.
No, you're right. It would have been freshman year.
Yeah.
I know we're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you were like,
right.
How dare he say he thinks I can't do this? I'm going to torture myself with math to prove him wrong.
Yeah, look where that got me. I used so much calculus today.
You probably do.
Yeah. No. Write him a letter and be like, your profession's irrelevant. But something like that. Get him.
Oh, no.
Get him.
Get him.
No, I'm good with my 5 on my AP test. That was enough for
Maybe joke's on you. That's how he motivates people. Like he's like, I'm not a good enough teacher to get people to do.
No.
Like
this
AP
guy,
Calc.
this was the type of teacher. This is how you know this is wrong, because he was the teacher that would mark you negative points if you didn't double underline your answer. If you only single underlined, he took points off. He's that guy. He's the worst.
Some unmedicated.
What'd you say?
That's some unmedicated and unchecked shit right there.
Yeah. That's some power trip. That's some, you definitely are in an unhappy marriage, or you had a hard childhood or something, and now you're just going to take it out on all your students. And I hated it. It made me angry. Do we have any other honorable mentions?
No, I think we can move on to your number 1.
All right.
Yeah.
So background for my number 1 is I'm a stormwater planner in Washington, and we recently learned that there is a molecule that interacts with ozone that comes from tires, and it creates something called 6-ppdq, and it instantly kills coho salmon, who are very endangered, and it's the worst thing in the world. And so
sorry, I did black out a little bit. What are we talking about here?
I love that this is your number 1.
Your personal arch rival. Here's hey, maybe this is the problem. The molecule?
No, it was going to be a big oil, and that was my lead up.
Oh. Okay.
Here's what I'm going to say about your list.
I knew you were going to do this. I'm aware.
This is why, here's why you're not the winner of this episode. It's because these are not personal arch rivals in your life.
I don't have any.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. Memory. You could have put that as your number 1. Just off the bat, that one. Maybe number 2, cooking. You can't do it under an hour and a half. It's impossible. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are definitely arch rivals you have in your life that are personal. These are
I do feel like this reflects my personality pretty well, though.
Yeah.
But how is this your personal arch rival? Big Oil? You and Big Oil?
Because,
you duking it out?
Let me tell you why. Take a seat. Listen up.
Listen.
So Big Oil, one, it pisses me off that it is a finite resource. There's only so fucking much of it, and yet we are continuing to invest and being lobbied by these people, and we are creating wars over this. We are creating sanctions. Like, we are ruining lives over a finite resource that someday we won't even be able to fucking use. 2, I had a list. I wrote it down because I actually hate Big Oil.
But this isn't things you hate.
But another thing, another thing was when we started having people living in cities in the US, we had mass transit, trains, little coaches, whatever. And we used these to move people from point A to point B. The invention of the car and Big Oil, specifically because they lobbied and got all mass transit removed after the 1950s, they ruined America, in my opinion. I think that they got all these suburbs built and they got all these people hooked on cars. They wouldn't fund mass transit. And now everybody is stuck. Like, poor people have to use cars, had to pay extreme amounts of money for oil, a finite fucking resource, when we have other technology, other ideas that could be implemented, and they're just out there using their money and their fucking influence to get oil sold. It's stupid, and I hate it.
If we were going by that logic, you could have just said Eisenhower. He's the one that approved the funding for the interstate system.
Yeah, I know he did. And
but Big Oil.
My dad likes to say he's like my distant second cousin or something like that. I mean,
see, that would have been a good one. Your cousin's your arch rival.
Dude, did you? This is
-1.
good. Juicy.
Mara brought up the Eisenhower. I didn't even bring up the Eisenhower.
-1 because you were related to him, and it would have been a better
That's something that I
rival.
didn't even think about. You can't give me negative points.
Well,
what? That's just an untrue statement.
It is not.
Especially
Mara
in this
brought
show.
something up, and then I was like, "Oh, by the way,
Cara, you're already in the hole. You're in the hole. I don't know what to tell you.
I'm at 0.
No, because this is not things you hate. That is not an arch rival. Is like your opponent. It's like
yeah. Well, I'm
your
a stormwater
personal
planner.
opponent.
she
I'm a stormwater
did start
planner.
this. So how is this affecting stormwater again? I've lost all focus.
The short version is that tires kill fish, and I am a stormwater planner, and now I have to design things to prevent that death. a
Do you have to
little
prevent
keystone species in the ecosystem.
Okay. There we go. She brought it home. It's not your fault that there was
That I'm angry about so many other things.
fluff words in there.
I think people should know about 6-ppdq. It is an emerging pollutant. It's very bad. It kills everything. And it's supposedly I think it should be fixed.
So it's 6.
Yeah, next time we do top 3 things people know about. Top 3 things. Okay, here we go. We can cut that. Next time we do top 3 things people should know about, you just list your 3 archrivals, okay? And then we'll direct them to this list.
You make this podcast so fun for me.
It's good.
I love
Take
being
it
on
at
this
face
podcast.
value. Nice. Face value. That's good. So it's 6ppqd.
6ppdq.
Okay. I don't think that should be a negative point. She said that she was a stormwater and she's out here trying to prevent the death of fish, and that shit's getting in the way of her work.
That's right.
Maybe if you had a 45-hour work week, you'd already have it solved.
Maybe if I had 30, I would have it solved.
Fair.
So I think I'm at 0. I have no positive points and I have no negative points.
It would be a travesty if you won this episode. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I should win one eventually. That
Well,
seems
you
fair.
gotta earn it. What the hell? I'm not out here giving free episode wins.
Yeah, you gotta look at the prompt and you gotta fulfill it, dude.
I didn't like this prompt. I do not walk around the world thinking about hate like you do.
That's not what it is. Archrivals are things. They're the push, they're the pull. The love-hate relationship. There's an eternal battle between you and your arch rival. You keep going at each other.
I don't feel like I have that, you know?
I just
not something
listed
that I
2 for
really-
you. Your memory, cooking, 2. Bam. You're constantly
cooking.
struggling with your memory. And
Memory would have been a really good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next
That would
time.
have been good. Maybe I should have you help me with my list.
no, I like it like this. It's more entertaining when you talk about.
Yeah, of course it is.
You talk about big oil.
You know, someday somebody's going to be listening to this and they're going to think, I'm going to go for the underdog. Cara will win one someday.
There should be, before people listen, there should be like betting on Twitter. Like they just see the subject. They haven't listened to the podcast and they have to say who they think wins that
Who do you think the
episode.
winner's going to be? That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Oh, Grayson's now trying to take the blame for your list.
No, I
saying
wouldn't have had a
might
list if
be
it wasn't
his
for you,
fault.
Grayson. You don't get to...
It's
You did your best, Grayson. You know what? +1 to you, Grayson, for coming up with Cara's list.
If Grayson wins an episode before me, I'll fucking quit. That's bullshit.
I am actually okay with this point because you did start this episode by saying Grayson helped me.
He did help me.
So -1 to Cara.
No.
Yes,
No,
yes, we
just
agreed.
+1 for Grayson.
And -1 to
No.
Cara. And we're good.
For
And
what?
I'm
For
going
what?
to give my
Wait, for what?
top,
Wait, for
my
what?
number 1
For what?
archrival.
For what? What's my negative point for? You tell me right now, Mara.
You know.
Mara Blish. Yeah, not Marion. Mara, you tell me what my negative point's for.
It's for admitting to the teamwork of your list. They're not yours. You either gotta.
That's not at all what happened.
Yeah,
He
you did.
helped me
You said
think
that-
of it, and then I narrowed it down and researched it on my own. He just helped me think about it.
I think you said, quote, maybe we can find it. I think you said it wouldn't exist without Grayson. The list wouldn't exist without Grayson.
That would be damning evidence.
Yeah. Well, if we find it, we'll replay it here and everyone will know.
No, we are not going to keep a
-1.
20-minute debacle
Here,
about
I've got
whether
2
or not
sound
I
bites.
get a
I've
negative point.
got 2 sound bites. If it plays.
So I had a hard time coming up with these, and Grayson lovingly helped me. So this is like partially the brainstorm of us two.
Wow, -1 to Cara. If it doesn't play. Well, I guess we were wrong, Mara. Psych. Anyway, my number 1 archrival in my life is directions. I think that there was a study that came out that said that basically people can have dyslexia with images the same way Like, it's not like normal dyslexia, which is obviously with letters and words, but that there can be dyslexia in your mind with images. And I believe that's why I have such big trouble with directions, because I can literally like be walking out of a place where I just paid attention, and 9 times out of 10, I'm going to turn left when I was supposed to turn right. Like, I have no gauge for where anything is. One time, I was living in England, and I had spent a whole semester there abroad in a town called Norwich. And I had walked all the time. I didn't have a car or anything, was always walking. And I then went back to that same town to live with my then boyfriend at the time. And at one point we were in the city center, and we were going to walk back to like the bus stop or his apartment or something. And he was like, why don't you lead us? You know, you've been doing this for like 6 months now. Like, you got to know. And I was like, no, I definitely don't know. I definitely don't have it. He was like, no. I really believe that you will figure this out. Like, you know, like you've done this like so many times. Like, you have to inherently know.
Fools.
Believing in you.
Foolish. Yeah. And so he naively let me lead, and he let me go on. And an hour in, he said, I'm going to have to stop you. We're completely the wrong direction. We gotta walk. Like, we are going, like, we have not stopped. Like, we're going the wrong way. I kept thinking maybe like you turn around. We got to this hill. I thought you'd see like where we were. It was very bad, but
Wow.
I mean, it was fine because we liked walking and we didn't have anything to do. It was like a summer day, so it didn't matter, but it was like, it was very embarrassing. Like, I can't believe he had faith for like a whole hour that I was gonna, I don't know, turn it around somehow.
Quite literally.
That is
Damn.
way better than me being on a date in downtown Des Moines and telling this guy that he wanted to go the wrong direction. And he didn't believe me. And I was like, I grew up here. I know where I'm going. But
So how did that
I
date
hate
end?
that. This is stupid. With a kiss. It was nice. It was a pretty good date. Yeah.
Well,
No, it was that weird British guy. You guys, that was our second date, and it
Oh,
was
right. The hockey.
Yeah, that was
but
the
not
hockey date.
not the burger British guy who only ate burgers.
It was that guy.
Same guy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Who also wore cargo shorts that went down past his knee.
he was in Des Moines with you?
He wanted to go to a hockey game, so he drove down to Des Moines, and then he drove back the same night. And then it was the same weekend I bought my car.
Oh, so you were down there. Okay.
Wild month for me. Got a tattoo, got a car.
Some months are like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we should
man.
do top 3 wildest month that we've experienced. That might be interesting.
That'll happen to me with directions where I will say right, but I'm pointing left, and it's what my hand is doing that is the correct answer. It's never what's coming out of my mouth.
That's per Italy, where you were directing me in very stressful times. I can attest to this. Yes. I stopped listening to you and watched your hands. We're like, this is the moment where we're like driving through the city. This is the only time I've ever driven a red light. I've gone through a red light, and Mara was directing me, doing a great job. Just everything was wrong.
Just wrong directions.
We got there. It was good.
Wow.
Marion did win a slap bet though one time against me because of directions. So I will give you that one.
there's been, I mean, there have been victories.
Yeah.
There have been victories in this eternal
Just
struggle with
good
directions.
days and bad days.
Yeah, but more often than not, it is quite terrible.
Yeah.
What was the slap bet?
We were leaving a hike after Banff, and I was convinced that it was right, and you were left. That's the one you locked my jaw.
And you guys made Savina very uncomfortable.
Every time.
Which is why we created this podcast, because people like Savina can't hack it. I imagine, I don't know if Savina's listened to this podcast.
She has not.
But I assume it's because she turned on maybe the first 2 minutes and was like, no.
No, she she refused to even turn it on.
She's like, she knows she can't handle it.
She knows that it will give her extreme anxiety. And she's like, I don't. And I was like, it's not really that bad. And she's like, no. I
For the record, it is that bad and it will give her hives.
Did you say hives?
Yeah. She's going to break out in hives if she listens to it.
Wow. A physical reaction.
Yummy.
All right.
Our podcast elicits such
any points?
emotions.
I'm really bad at this part because I just want us all to win. And I know that's not the point, but I'm just such a yes man. And
I'll give a point on it.
My memory makes it so I can't remember what the beginning of the podcast was like. So.
I'll give a point to Mara for bravely bringing up chin hair and, finally airing that subject that everyone really needed to hear about. Nice.
I'm going to give a point to you for actually having a person arch rival. You were the only one of us who had an actual
bold
person.
enough to do that.
Willing enough to speak out. Thank you.
Yeah.
That might have been my first point that anyone's ever given me. It's very exciting.
No.
Well, it's usually you giving yourself a lot of points. We don't normally have to do this part.
Let's do a tiebreaker.
Okay. Yes.
Let's try and guess Bandy's biggest arch rival. Bandy is Grayson and Cara's dog. Why don't you guys text each other what you think the biggest arch rival is?
I'm going to type it out and I'm not going to send it.
Me too. And don't count down randomly with no context and then press send. Please.
Okay.
I don't know how to say this in a in the positive instead of like a double negative.
Good thing that writer's retreat is coming up.
Okay, that was really long, but it's the best
Same.
I can do. Do you guys have some ideas or agree? Maybe it's good to have a couple just in case.
Grayson vehemently disagrees with my idea. Okay.
Do you agree?
We've come to some sort of conclusion.
Okay.
Great.
I still think mine's better.
No, we have one.
It's okay.
I wrote this thing. He goes, no. I came up with another idea. He ignores it. I brought it up again. He said, no.
Why would you bring it up
He
three
says,
times?
Because I think it's good.
I think this solidifies why Cara's not going to win this episode. Okay, let's send on 3. 1, 2, 3.
My answer to Bandy's arch rival was her parents not letting her off leash to go play with anything that catches her interest.
That is so close to mine, which is having to ignore strangers and sit instead of jumping on every living thing she encounters. Damn it.
Okay. As the only non-biased judge in this party, I will...
These are the same answer.
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
Yeah,
We'll have to do the legendary double tiebreaker.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe give us an arch rival of a sports team that we have to say. A real life example. But don't make it too easy because we might know it. It has to be something that... But don't make it too hard either because...
This is good. I like talking sports with people.
Do you guys know who the Packers would consider their arch rival? And
yes, because
it's not the Vikings. Oh, you grew up there.
Oh. Yeah.
Let's see.
Well, I do. Yes.
Do you have a basketball one? I feel like basketball would be a fair playing field.
Sorry. Okay, thank you. I was because you go to Kings games occasionally, so I was like, oh, you gotta. But I go to Timberwolves games occasionally.
That's hockey.
So we are on even footing.
Yes.
I wish I knew anything about basketball, but I don't. Oh, hold on. Who is the arch rival
Bishop.
of the Powerpuff Girls?
Oh, that's a good...
Ready?
I didn't send it.
No, I'm not fucking ready.
Okay.
1 second.
See, Marion just straight up knew.
I never typed so fast in my life.
Yeah, I've never seen you move so quickly.
I got this.
All right,
Nobody
3,
fucking panic. No,
2.
I'm not fucking ready.
Oh
no,
my God,
what are you
okay.
doing?
You said you got this.
I'm hyping myself
She's
up.
hyping herself up.
Okay.
Oh gosh, I can feel the win on my fingertips. I can feel the victory. It tastes so good.
Okay.
Ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Mara said, the guy, W-I-H-T-T, the glasses.
Oh, that's supposed to be with.
The guy with the
then-
glasses.
And then
Yeah.
Marion said, Mojo Jojo.
Does that guy have glasses?
No,
No.
Damn it.
he's a
He
monkey.
has a glass brain. We also would have accepted him, but Marion is the winner of this.
Yeah,
tiebreaker.
for sure. In my defense, I didn't have cable.
That's true. It wasn't very fair, but I'll take it anyway.
Yeah.
It's been my top everything. I'm Marion, your super fair, totally normal winner.
I'm Cara.
And I'm Mara, coming in hot at second place. It's a good spot. I love her.
Cara sounded dead inside.
Yeah.
Dead inside. She went,
You did this. You are
I
my
did
arch rival.
this. I did this. Yeah, see, that would have been a great one.
The
You
dentist.
just have to accept that sometimes my brain thinks a little differently than yours. Not wrong, just different.
I'm not denying that.
Oh, a double negative.
I'm just saying. I think most people. Hey, if you agree with Cara, email us at mytopeverythingpodcast@gmail.com and say that she did normal archrivals.
Do it. You won't.
Yeah, do it. You won't.
Yeah.
You heard it.